If you are watching this right now and you feel like you are barely keeping your head above water, you are not alone and you are not doing it wrong. Everyone talks about the glow of new parenthood, but nobody warns you about the fog where you cannot. Remember if you brushed your teeth when you last ate a real meal, or what day of the week it is. Your coffee is always cold, your phone is full of baby photos, and yet you still sometimes think, why is this so hard for me when everyone else seems to be handling it? In this video, I am going to give you an essential survival guide for new parents in 2026. We are going to talk about sleep feeding your mental health and how to survive the constant pressure from social media and well-meaning relatives. And we will do it using a simple framework I call the CALM method, so you have something easy to remember at 3 a.m. when your brain feels like mush. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments what is the one piece of unsolicited advice you have received that made you want to scream. I want to know because I guarantee other parents have heard the exact same thing and you are absolutely not alone. Let's start by normalizing what you are going through. The reason you feel so overwhelmed right now is not just because you are unprepared or bad at this. A huge part of it is biological. Human babies are born what many experts call half-baked compared to other mammals. A baby horse can stand and walk within hours. Your baby, on the other hand, can barely control their head for months. That is because human brains grow so large that if we stayed in the womb long enough to be ready, birth would be impossible. So nature made a compromise. Your baby comes out early, and the first 3 months outside the womb are often called the 4th trimester. During this time, your baby is desperately seeking that womb-like environment, warmth, constant movement, noise, and closeness. That is why they often hate being put down in that beautiful, quiet, still crib you spent hours setting up. It does not feel safe or familiar to them yet. Here is our first I never knew that moment. In these early weeks, your baby is not meant to have a perfect, rigid schedule. Their brains are still wiring together. They do not start producing their own melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate night and day sleep, until around 10 to 12 weeks. So if you are trying to put a 6-week-old down at exactly 7 p.m., because some chart on the internet said so, and they are wide awake or fussy, it is not because they are stubborn or because you are doing it wrong. Their internal clock is literally not fully built yet. When parents hear this, you can almost see the relief in their faces. Oh, it is not just me. There is a reason this feels impossible. Now let's talk about the modern twist. Parenting in 2026. You are not just raising a baby. You are raising a baby in a world of constant notifications, comparison, and information overload. Your parents probably had a handful of books and their doctor. You have thousands of parenting accounts, reels, blogs, and TikToks telling you what a good parent does every single day. You can track every feed, every nap, every diaper, and while that data can sometimes be helpful, it can also make you feel like a walking report card that you are constantly failing. So our survival guide has to account for that reality. This is where the CALM method comes in. Cues over clocks, accept support, lower the bar, and micro self-care. We are going to walk through each piece with simple examples and steps you can start using today. Let's start with CQs over clocks. In the early months, the most powerful thing you can do is learn to read your baby, not just the clock on the wall or the app on your phone. Every baby has unique signals that they are tired, hungry, overstimulated, or just need a break. For sleep, look for early tired cues. Their eyebrows might turn slightly red. They might stare off into space and stop making eye contact. Their movements might slow down. These signs usually show up before the obvious yawn. Once you see yawning, crying, or frantic movements, you are already in the overtired zone, and getting them to sleep can be much harder. Here is our second I never knew that insight. Babies are incredibly noisy sleepers. This does not always mean they are actually awake or need you. They grunt, squirm, cry out, and make little faces while they are in a lighter stage of sleep. Many parents, especially first-time parents, hear the smallest sound and instantly scoop the baby up. But often, the baby was just transitioning between sleep cycles and would have settled back down on their own if given a moment. So, here is a simple technique you can try tonight: the 30-second pause. When you hear your baby fuss or cry out in their sleep, check if their eyes are actually open. If they are closed or fluttering and the crying is short, an intermittent pause and count slowly to 30, often they will quiet back down without you doing anything. Over time, this helps them learn to connect sleep cycles and can mean longer stretches of rest for both of you. Cues over clocks also apply to feeding. Instead of watching the timer and thinking it has been exactly 3 hours, I must feed, look at your baby. Are they rooting, turning their head toward your chest, or the bottle, putting their hands in their mouth, or getting more active? Those are early hunger cues. Crying is actually a late hunger cue. If you wait until they are screaming, feeding will be harder for both of you. Now, this does not mean a loose, unpredictable day forever. As your baby grows and you get to know their patterns, gentle routines naturally form. But in those early months, your sanity will improve when you shift from "what does the app say" to "what is my baby telling me right now?" Next is accept support. This sounds obvious, but in reality, it is one of the hardest things for new parents to do. Many of us were raised to be independent, to not be a burden to handle it. Add social media where we see highlight reels of parents who seem to be doing it all with a smile, and the idea of asking for help can feel like admitting failure. In 2026, we have more devices and more convenience than ever, but we also have less built-in village support. Families are more spread out, and community can feel more distant. That means we have to be intentional about asking for and accepting help. Here is a practical way to make this easier. Before the baby is born, or even right now, if your baby is already here, make a help list. Write down specific tasks that others could do for you. Dropping off a meal, folding a load of laundry, holding the baby so you can shower, taking an older sibling to the park, running a grocery pickup, or even sitting and listening while you cry for 10 minutes. Then when someone says, "Let me know if you need anything," instead of saying, "I am fine," you can choose one thing from your list and say it out loud. Actually, could you bring over a meal we can just heat up? Or, honestly, could you just come hold the baby for half an hour so I can take a proper shower? You are not being needy. You are being human. There is also a growing trend in 2026 of parents trading support instead of just buying more stuff. Maybe one friend cooks double dinner once a week and shares half, and you return the favor with a few hours of babysitting once you're ready. Maybe a grandparent cannot be there physically, but they can pay for a house cleaning session instead of buying another cute outfit your baby will outgrow in a month. If you are pregnant and people ask what you need, tell them we would love help with meals or chores instead of more things. That is real survival support. Now, let's move to L, lower the bar. This can be the hardest part for perfectionists, high achievers, or just parents who care deeply, which is basically all parents. You might have had a mental picture of what kind of parent you would be. Always calm, always patient, house tidy, homemade baby food, beautiful photos, enriching playtime. Then reality hits, and you are sitting on the couch at 2 p.m. in the same t-shirt you slept in, eating crackers for lunch while bouncing a fussy baby and scrolling parenting advice. You, Dante, have the energy to follow. Lowering the bar does not mean you don't care. It means you are choosing what truly matters for your baby's health. And your mental health and letting the rest be good enough for now? There is an actual concept in child psychology called the good enough parent. Research shows that children do not need perfect parents. In fact, constantly perfect reactions can create pressure. Children benefit when parents respond warmly and consistently most of the time, but occasionally make small mistakes and repair them. That is how kids learn that the world is safe but not rigid, that relationships can handle bumps, and that it is okay to be human. So what does lowering the bar look like in everyday life? It might mean choosing simple, repetitive meals instead of cooking something different every night. It might mean accepting that some days your only wins are that the baby is fed and alive and you got 5 minutes of fresh air by opening a window. It might mean letting the dishes sit in the sink, asking your partner to take over bedtime while you step outside, or saying no to visitors when you are exhausted. Your baby does not care if the laundry is folded into neat squares. They care that the person taking care of them is not running on empty all the time. Finally, we get to M, micro self-care. When people say self-care, you might imagine bubble baths, manicures, or a weekend away. Those are lovely, but in the newborn stage, they often are not realistic. What you need is survival-level self-care, tiny, repeatable actions that help pull your body out of stress mode. Your nervous system is probably in fight or flight most of the day, especially if your baby cries a lot. If you are sleep-deprived or if you are dealing with anxiety or postpartum mood changes, micro self-care can be as small as a 3-minute reset. Here is one you can use when the baby is safely in the crib bassinet or with another adult. Step into another room, set a 1-minute timer on your phone, and take slow, deep breaths. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4, exhale through your mouth for 6. Do that for the full minute. Then drink a full glass of water. That is it. It sounds ridiculously simple, but these small actions send a powerful signal to your brain that you are not in immediate danger, even if things feel intense. Another micro tool is a micro joy, something tiny that makes you feel like you are still you. Maybe it is listening to your favorite song while feeding, stepping into sunlight on the balcony, putting on a clean t-shirt, or making your morning coffee a little nicer. I also want to say this clearly. If your sadness, anxiety, anger, or overwhelm feel constant, heavy, or scary, that is not your fault, and you are not failing. Postpartum depression and anxiety are common and treatable. If getting through the day feels impossible, if you have scary thoughts, or if you feel numb, instead of connected, please tell your doctor, midwife, or a trusted person. Getting help is a survival step, not a weakness. Before we wrap up, let's quickly talk about some common mistakes new parents are pressured into that you can consciously let go of. One big one is trying to fix things that are not actually problems yet. For example, if your newborn falls asleep nursing or with a bottle and that is the only way they sleep right now and it works for your family, that is not automatically a bad habit. In the early months, feeding to sleep is completely normal. Many babies grow out of it naturally as their sleep matures. You can always adjust routines later when you have more bandwidth. Another big pressure point is comparing your baby's milestones to what you see online. Every baby develops on their own timeline within a wide normal range. If you have real concerns, talk to your pediatrician, not a random stranger on the internet. Another mistake is believing you must enjoy every moment. You will see quotes like, "You will miss this one day." And while there is some truth there, it can make you feel guilty for not loving the hard parts. You are allowed to not enjoy the fifth wake-up of the night, the endless diapers, or the days where you feel touched out and overstimulated. You can love your baby deeply and still not love every part of parenting. Both can be true at the same time. Let me leave you with one more question to answer in the comments, because your words will help another exhausted parent feel seen. If you could trade one diaper change for 20 extra minutes of sleep right now, would you do it? And what would you spend that extra 20 minutes doing? Sleeping, showering, eating, scrolling in peace? I would have chosen a hot shower and silence for sure. You might feel like you are barely surviving, but from the outside you are doing something incredible. You are literally keeping a tiny human alive while your own body and brain are healing and adjusting. You are learning your baby, and your baby is learning you. That bond is not built in the perfect moments. It is built in the middle of the mess and the rocking, the shushing, the tired cuddles, the "I have no idea what I am doing, but I am here" moments. That is what your child will feel in the long run. So remember, calm, cues over clocks, watch your baby, not just the app. Accept support, say yes, and be specific. Lower the bar. Good enough is more than enough right now. Micro self-care, tiny resets that keep you going. If this video gave you even one moment of relief or one idea to try tonight, please subscribe to Healthy Child Habits for more simple, science-backed, and judgment-free tips. Thank you for watching.